Oh, hi, handsome. Back so soon? Did you miss your sweetie? Brenda walked toward Kevin seductively, getting a kick out of making him feel a little uncomfortable. I just couldn't stay away. How are you doing, beautiful? Kevin did his best to be playful too, even though he had more important things on his mind. Oh, you don't seem so shy this time. Brenda leaned in and blew in Kevin's ear. Listen, Angel, I really need to talk with Penny. Kevin gently stepped away and started to walk toward Penny. A second later, a glass of white wine was thrown in Kevin's face. Everyone turned and stared at Mackenzie. You have some nerve coming here, you liar! Mackenzie smashed her glass on the floor. What are you doing, Mackenzie? Kevin was taken by surprise. What are you talking about? I can pour a glass of wine, can't I? She sneered. You know, yesterday I sent someone to check into your background. That's how I found out you were tossed out of your own family, and ever since you've been mooching off the Jones family. You're the biggest loser in Chicago. When the other woman in the salon heard what Mackenzie had found out, they burst into laughter. Well, most of the women who were sitting on the sofas were amused, but a couple of them weren't laughing at all. Doesn't that bother you, Penny? One of the women asked her. They started to mock Kevin and ask him why he was so interested in Penny. By now, none of them believed that Kevin was really an herbalist. They figured he'd be lucky to train his body a little, let alone have such a specialized skill. After all, whoever heard of an herbalist who was short on cash? They're usually so rich they toss money around like it's confetti. Kevin frowned, but he didn't say anything more. He was there to ask for help. He would just have to put up with their humiliation if he wanted to help Dalton to recover. What am I? Mackenzie put her hands on her hips and glared at Kevin. I don't have the time for this. Kevin wiped the wine off his face and walked over to Penny. Can I talk with you about something? Oh, were you talking to me? Penny interrupted Kevin as she casually sipped her sparkling wine. Didn't you claim that you can refine all kinds of herbal meds? All I've seen is a giant hole in my wall. Let me explain that, Penny. Kevin didn't know what to say for a moment. That night, he'd been knocked unconscious by the person who'd been sent by Selena, the Alliance director. When he woke up again, he was at the Alliance's headquarters. He had no idea what happened during that time. There's nothing to explain. Just get lost. Penny gestured impatiently for him to go away. Did you hear what Penny said? Just get out of here or you're dead meat. Mackenzie was so angry she could barely catch her breath. Please, listen to me, Penny. My friend is dying. He urgently needs a gold and water gemstone to save his life. I don't care how much money you want for it, Kevin pleaded with her. Every minute that he delayed, Dalton was in more danger. Suddenly, all the women looked over at Penny. They knew that the Sutherlands had taken the raw material and hired a craftsman to create a bracelet for Penny. Do you know what you're talking about? That's an extremely rare treasure, Mackenzie scolded Kevin. Mackenzie's right. I think you should give up on the idea. It's Penny's favorite piece of jewelry and she hasn't taken it off in years. Brenda put one hand on Kevin's shoulder and patted his cheek with the other. Let's get serious. Penny knitted her brow as she thought about Kevin's request. Then she looked at him again. Do you know how much my family paid for it? I know it cost $600 million. I'll go to the bank to transfer the money to you right away, Kevin answered quickly. Things were going really well at Williams Media. Plus, the new hotel was doing great, and on top of that, Cook and Tyler would certainly back him. $600 million was just a drop in the bucket. Penny's friend stopped laughing. Do you have any idea how much $600 million is? Brenda asked. I know you're upset with me, but I really had an emergency that night. Look, I have the repair pill right here. Kevin held out his hand and showed it to her. They all stared in disbelief. Penny gazed at the repair pill and then looked at Kevin, then back at the medicine. She was sure it was the real thing, but her friends thought it was just a trick. How could Kevin prove that it was genuine? Penny's friends wanted Kevin to leave, especially Mackenzie. In order to show how sincere he was, Kevin showed them the repair pill that he'd made for Mackenzie. You've got to listen to us. Penny, don't let this trash cheat you again. Nobody actually knows what the repair pill looks like. This could just be a freaking piece of candy. She didn't trust Kevin at all. As he was listening to everyone badmouth him, he started to hyperventilate. How could they be so foolish when they had no idea what they were talking about? Let's listen to what he has to say. Penny looked Kevin directly in the eye and asked him, Is it true that your friend's life is on the line? Yes, it's true. Dalton was injured by an expert from the union. He's lying at home right now. If you don't believe me, I can take you over to the Steele family's mansion. Kevin anxiously shuffled his feet. Not right now. I ended up having the day off from school and I want to hang around a little more with my sisters. I believe you, and I'll let you have the golden water gem, but you have to remember one thing. You owe me a favor now. A huge favor. Penny slowly took off her bracelet. She understood how Kevin felt about Dalton, and she would never joke around about something as serious as this. This bracelet contains the gold water stone? Kevin asked in surprise. Yes, but I want to remind you that although this is rare and valuable, it's extraordinarily durable. If my family hadn't known what to do with it, I'm afraid it wouldn't be here today, Penny remarked as she held it out for Kevin. But before Kevin could take it from her hand, Mackenzie reached out and snatched it away. Mackenzie, what are you doing? Penny was surprised at her friend. Penny, don't worry about it. I want to teach Kevin a lesson. Mackenzie held the bracelet out of Kevin's reach and said, Give me the pill first. Don't you believe this is a real repair pill? The frustration was showing on Kevin's face. He wanted to deck Mackenzie, but that wouldn't be right either. I just don't believe you. What's the matter with that? Mackenzie replied coldly. Give me the repair pill and I'll send someone to see whether this is a genuine med before I give you the bracelet. No way! As far as Kevin was concerned, this wasn't even an option, so he refused and pulled back his hand. Dalton was still unconscious. Was there enough time for Mackenzie to have the pill verified? What if she left and didn't come back? Kevin, you know that Penny can be a little gullible. Believe it or not, I'm ready to destroy the bracelet right now. Mackenzie's eyes were burning with anger. Don't be impulsive, Mackenzie. Penny tried to calm her friend down. Penny knew how bad her temper could be, and she was used to having to calm her down. Mackenzie, you may not realize it, but the bracelet's material is virtually indestructible. There's no way you could destroy it. Kevin hated to be threatened, and he did his best to control his tone of voice. Just give me the bracelet, and I promise I'll give you the repair pill. He'd had enough of this standoff. Well, even if it can't be destroyed, how do you know I won't run down to the beach and toss it in Lake Michigan? Or maybe I'll just leave Chicago and you'll never see it again. Mackenzie persisted. There was no way she was going to let Kevin win. Please don't mess around, Mackenzie. Kevin was so frustrated he was going nuts. Penny looked over at Brenda, but her friend didn't understand what Mackenzie was about to do. But Penny knew that Mackenzie could be very stubborn and incredibly unreasonable. Well, why should I give the bracelet to you? Remember when you said I'd have to beg you for the repair pill? Mackenzie got a really snotty look on her face and said, I'll tell you what, you're going to have to beg me. What did you say? Kevin clenched his fists and took a deep breath. He was really about to lose his mind. Mackenzie, you're going too far. Brenda couldn't believe what she was doing. Penny was getting upset with her friend too. For one thing, if Kevin really is a master herbalist, he may get revenge on her in the future. And not even Mackenzie's grandfather would be able to help her. Well, are you going to do it or not? If you don't beg me right now, I'm heading for the door, Mackenzie said with a sneer. Mackenzie, you have to stop this. I need that bracelet. Kevin's face was almost purple with rage. What's the matter with you? Can't you take a little teasing? Mackenzie stuck her tongue out at Kevin like they were a couple of school kids on the playground. Suddenly, Kevin pulled out the infinity pendant that the Night King had given him and announced, If you're not willing to help, maybe this can convince you. Penny and the others looked at him with some doubt in their eyes. They all knew enough to see that it was a very high-quality piece of jewelry, probably made by a master jeweler. But what was it for? But Mackenzie was the one who was the most shocked. Her face turned pale and she took a few steps back. Her eyes grew wide and she seemed a little afraid. The other women didn't know the meaning of the pendant. Did she? The myriads had a strict hierarchy. Of course, there was a leader in the highest position. There were also deputies, messengers, and other people in respected positions. It was similar to the structure in the Alliance. Mackenzie's grandfather was one of the 12 messengers, and the infinity pendant Kevin took out was the symbol of the deputy leader. "I can't believe you're the deputy leader!" Mackenzie suddenly got very polite and looked down at the floor. Anyone who belonged to the myriads knew that you had to be very respectful toward anyone who was in possession of the symbol that Kevin was showing them. Penny and the others were shocked. They all got up from the sofa and stood there quietly. They didn't even dare to breathe. All of them were obviously members of the myriads. Now Mackenzie was petrified because of all the trouble she'd given Kevin in the past. She could feel the blood run out of her face and she felt a little dizzy. But Kevin also felt a little puzzled by this. Wasn't the Night King a member of the Alliance? How did he also become the deputy leader of the myriads? On top of that, he clearly remembered that Brett Stewart had told him that the symbol of the myriads deputy was made of platinum. But Kevin knew jewelry, and he was certain that this one was made of palladium. He wasn't sure if he'd misunderstood what Stewart had told him. But the symbol was the same as the one on his ID card for Infinitude Pharmaceuticals, the business the myriads used as a front. "It seems that my mentor has a lot of secrets. I'm going to have a long talk with him the next time I see him," Kevin said to himself. "I'm sorry I insulted you, Deputy. I had no idea who you were. Please, forgive me. I promise I'll never do it again." Mackenzie was sure to be extremely polite and sweet now. Kevin hadn't said anything to them, so the women didn't know what to do. They were part of the elite of Chicago, but in the myriads they hardly had any rank at all. Whether Kevin was a member of the myriads or not, the only thing that mattered was he was showing them the symbol of a rank that was much higher than theirs. "Now can you give me the bracelet?" Kevin asked her flatly. Mackenzie walked over to Kevin and calmly handed him the bracelet that he needed. He didn't want to waste another second. He took the bracelet and practically ran out of the shop. When Kevin was gone, Mackenzie took a long, deep breath. Penny and her other friends stood there in silence. Wasn't Kevin just a freeloader? How did he get to be such a high rank in the myriads? "Mackenzie, are you sure he had the infinity pendant?" Penny asked her hesitantly. "I'm sure, I'm not mistaken. I've seen that same symbol on all the myriads' high-level buildings. But my grandfather once told me that there's one exception," Mackenzie explained as fear started to creep over her. "You mean the man nobody's seen for decades?" Brenda asked in shock. Her father also had a high rank in the organization, so she knew a little about these things. When Kevin returned to the Steele family's home, the Night King quickly took the bracelet so he could use it to cure Dalton's injuries. More than 2 hours later, the Night King finally came into the great room and told Kevin that Dalton would be okay. But he had some business to attend to, so he had to get going. "I knew I could count on you to help Dalton," Norman Steele said with a sigh. He knew that it would be tough to deal with the Sutherland family, so he figured Kevin had paid a colossal sum for the golden water gemstone. "Grandpa, how can you say a thing like that? My cousin was injured because of this. I don't see how this can make up for it." Rain looked at Kevin with utter disdain. The more she looked at him, the more contemptuous she felt. Kevin didn't pay any attention to Rain and turned to Norman. "I wouldn't do anything less. As far as I'm concerned, Dalton's my brother." "Kevin, our home is your home. Stay with us for as long as you like." Norman was very happy to have Kevin staying with them. Now, it was a waiting game. They had no idea when Dalton would finally open his eyes again. By 1 in the morning, Rain and Blanca were starting to worry about staying up all night. They were exhausted and asked their grandfather if they could go to their rooms and get some rest. Norman had a strong constitution, but he was getting on in years. By 3 in the morning, he needed to go get some rest too. "Miranda, if you also want to get some sleep, I'll stay here and let you know when Dalton wakes up," Kevin said softly. "Well, thank you so much," Miranda sighed. To tell the truth, she didn't really believe that Kevin's mentor would be able to save her husband. At 5 o'clock in the morning, Kevin was starting to get irritable. He kept thinking about what had happened in the hospital. He stepped out for just a minute to get some coffee, but when he got back to Dalton's room, he saw the door slowly opening. As he looked in astonishment at the large figure coming out, Kevin rubbed his eyes, unsure if he was dreaming. He couldn't believe it was actually Dalton.
"Kevin, what the heck are you doing here?"
Dalton grinned broadly. "You scared me to death, buddy." Kevin gave Dalton a big hug as his eyes started to well up with tears.
"I'm okay. No need to cry, man."
Dalton patted Kevin on the back several times. Kevin's tears started to turn to laughter when he realized his best friend was going to be okay.
"I never knew you could be so emotional,"
Dalton said with a loud laugh. They woke up the whole Steele family. Everyone was thrilled to see that he was safe and sound. Miranda burst into tears and couldn't stop kissing him on the cheek. Norman kept wiping his eyes until his handkerchief was soaked. Then Miranda told him about everything that had happened while he was in a coma. How the Night King had come and how Kevin had gotten the rare cure from Penny Sutherland. Dalton got a warm look in his eyes when he realized how much everyone had helped him.
"Kevin, I'm really grateful for everything you did, but I won't thank you."
Dalton squeezed Miranda's hand. "I never expected you to thank me," Kevin joked. They were kidding around like a couple of high schoolers. A little after sunrise, Kevin had breakfast with the Steele family. While they were eating, his cell phone rang. The caller ID showed that it was Officer Emmett. "Hello, Kelly. Why are you calling me so early in the morning?" Kevin was in a good mood and felt like joking with her. He even called her by her first name, but it didn't seem to bother her. "Don't be mad at me, boss. I have a favor to ask of you. And by the way, haven't you heard that the early bird catches the worm?" Kelly replied shyly. "Say no more. You're calling about the power pill, aren't you?" Kevin got straight to the point. "How did you know that? Anyway, where are you going to be today? I'll meet you whenever you want, but I also want to ask if you have any extra herbal meds on you." She sounded a little embarrassed to be asking him. Kevin frowned. It wasn't like her to be so interested in meds. Even though it was easy for Kevin to make power pills now, he didn't want to get in the habit of handing them out like jelly beans. Was she just using him? "Why do you need so many herbals? Are you hitting a plateau in your training?" Kevin wondered out loud. "Not yet. I'm asking for my mentor. She hasn't been able to make any progress in nearly 3 years," Kelly answered bluntly. "If you have an extra power pill, do you think you could give it to me? If you help her to get to the next level, I'll be eternally grateful." But if Kelly wanted the power pill for her mentor in the Union, Kevin really wasn't in the mood to help. "Wait a second. I remember you belong to the Union and your mentor is really serious about her training." Kevin kept thinking about all the kinds of possibilities in his mind. Suddenly he got a glum look on his face. He gritted his teeth and asked, "Did your mentor call Director Silver?" Officer Emmett didn't notice the change in Kevin's tone of voice. She went on to heap praise on her mentor. "So you actually know her? She's one of the senior members of the Union. You may not know it, but even though she's pretty old, she's really good at training in herbalism. So she looks way younger than her actual age. Her goal is to do a lot of good in the world." "Good. That's really nice. I'm sorry, but unfortunately I don't have a power pill on me right now." Kevin narrowed his eyes slightly. Now that he knew that Director Silver was involved, he started to get angry. Although Renee Silver claimed to hate evildoers, she was just a fool who didn't know right from wrong. Actually, she was the bad guy, supporting the strong and bullying the weak. She couldn't hold a candle to Kevin's mentor, the Night King. It was a good thing he'd asked, otherwise he might have given her a power pill for her mentor's development. Of course, Kevin knew that the herbal med involved would be useless to a higher-level practitioner, but he'd rather just flush the pill down the toilet. That would be 10 times better than giving it to a fool like her. "What's going on, Kevin? I have a feeling it's bugging you to talk about my mentor. Officer Emmett had finally picked up on Kevin's signals. Well, I'll just let you figure it out for yourself. After Kevin said this, he abruptly ended the call and didn't give her a chance to respond. Dalton could tell something wasn't right with Kevin. He scratched the back of his head and asked,
"What's wrong? Did you just get some bad news?"
Officer Emmett's driving me nuts. She actually wanted a power pill from me so she could give it to Director Silver. Kevin looked out the window at the garden as he shook his head in disbelief.
What?
Dalton slapped his hand on the table angrily.
She's actually studying with Director Silver?
She might as well be. Kevin knew that Officer Emmett was in deep with the Union.
Kevin, don't give it to her. What a horrible idea. Do you want any help from me?
Dalton agreed that it would be terrible to give her such powerful medication. Anyone else at that table couldn't help overhearing their conversation. The truth was that they all wanted a power pill too. Just when Rain was about to ask for it, Kevin's cell phone rang again.
Doesn't she know when to give up? Give me her phone. I'll set her straight.
Dalton leaned forward and started to reach for Kevin's phone. Kevin glanced at his screen. Nope, it's my wife this time. He swiped the screen to take the call. What's the matter, Lily? Do you miss me? Kevin, can you please come home? Lily's voice was very anxious. What happened? I'm at Dalton's house right now. I'll be home as soon as I can. Kevin then turned to Dalton and said, Looks like something happened back home. I have to get going.
Go ahead. Just promise to call me if you get in any trouble.
Dalton didn't stop him. Before anybody had a chance to react, Kevin was already outside. He zipped over to Lily's condo and got there in minutes. When Lily saw him walk in, she ran to the door and gave him a big hug. Kevin! Don't cry, Lily. Is someone bothering you? Tell me what's going on and I'll take care of the problem. Kevin patted her on the back and comforted her in a soft voice. Mom's been in an explosion. I just got a call saying that she's been sent to Downtown General. Lily cried bitterly and said, Kevin, what will we ever do if she doesn't make it? Don't cry, Lily. I know this isn't easy for you. Let's go to the hospital and see her. Kevin was feeling a little sad, mainly from seeing Lily crying. In any case, he didn't have a lot of warm feelings for Dorothy. She'd never been kind to him, but she was still a big part of Lily's life. Kevin drove to the hospital with Lily. She cried the whole way, and by the time they got there, her eyes were red and swollen. When they walked into the emergency room, they could hear people screaming and crying. There was blood everywhere, and hospital employees were doing their best to calm all the families while the doctors and nurses treated the victims. Kevin, do you think Mom's here yet? Lily was anxiously looking for her mother in the dense crowd. Let's hope she made it. Kevin scanned the room and suddenly spotted her. Come with me, Lily. I found your mom. Dorothy was sitting in the corner. Her clothes were tattered and torn. She also had some blood spattered on her face. Fortunately, she wasn't injured, but she looked scared and lost. Kevin didn't know why, but he suddenly felt sad for her. How are you, Mom? Lily quickly let go of Kevin's hand and anxiously ran over to her mother. She gave her a hug, but was afraid of hurting her just in case she had an injury they didn't know about. Suddenly, Officer Emmett came over and gave Kevin a pat on the shoulder. What are you doing here, Kevin? Is everything all right? She paused for a moment and then asked him, What's the problem with my mentor? Let's not talk about it here. Why don't you go and ask her about it yourself? Kevin could tell that Officer Emmett was curious to know why he had such negative feelings about her mentor. Please tell me what happened. Officer Emmett was dying to find out the truth.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.